it seems like Overwatch is actually going to become an Ubisoft technically game, seeing that Microsoft is trying their best to be able to get this CMA thing done in the UK so they can actually, spend $75 billion on Activision Blizzard. And the reason why I said Ubisoft is getting Overwatch and most, if not almost all of the other Activision Blizzard properties is because Microsoft has recently signed a deal saying that for the next 15 years, Ubisoft can license out and use their games for streaming on Ubisoft Plus, which is already a multi-platform thing. Like, if you want to sign up to Ubisoft Plus on your PS5, you can do that. If you have a PlayStation Plus subscription, gotta double up on the subscriptions just to play one game. But this is actually how Microsoft is trying to skirt the CMA and their regulations of saying that Microsoft might actually be able to have a monopoly on streaming games. So now, for at least the next 15 years, Microsoft and Ubisoft might actually have a monopoly together on streaming games. Which means Ubisoft doesn't actually own the IPs, they just own the rights to streaming the games and allowing other companies to stream the game, obviously with Microsoft's input. Now, we don't know the full details of how this is actually going to work and what portion of money Microsoft is going to be taking from the deal that Xbox and Ubisoft just made. And if Ubisoft licenses out the streaming deals to anyone else, how much would Microsoft get off of that? Because obviously, Microsoft ain't just letting this go for free, right? They ain't just throwing Ubisoft a bone. Like, yeah, they're in a tough time right now over there at Ubisoft making nothing but Assassin's Creed because for some reason they think that's all they can make. They're not just gonna spend $75 billion on a game studio and then just license out the games for free to anyone that wants to stream it. Nah, you gotta grease old Phil Spencer's hands before you get the keys to the Xbox castle. I think something that we all kind of want to know is why Ubisoft? There's a ton of other cloud gaming services out there that could use this bump in popularity for good. But I think we all know why. Ubisoft probably took a huge hit in actual profits to actually have these games on their platform, and they probably just started slobbing all over Phil Spencer for this thing. EA wanted this deal. But EA wanted some specific things in this deal. And Xbox probably wasn't going because, in my opinion, I don't have any cloud gaming services, but Xbox is my number one. EA Access would probably be my number two because EA does still have some pretty good games up there. Ubisoft is below PlayStation Plus for me, and I have zero reason to buy PlayStation Plus at all. But Ubisoft is probably just hoping that more people will be exposed to Assassin's Creed, their one and only game franchise. It seems like they have no other game franchises out there. They're probably just hoping that a lot of people will buy Assassin's Creed or something, or hopefully get into that Assassin's Creed ecosystem of just buying the new Assassin's Creed every year like they're buying the new Call of Duty. But yeah, it's gonna be kind of weird actually seeing a lot of these Activision Blizzard games on different services because we already saw Overwatch come to Steam and we all seen the reception of that, but also it's Overwatch 2. Like, let's all be honest here. We all expected it. It's gonna be kind of weird seeing like Overwatch and Call of Duty and all that on Ubisoft. But good old Xbox has to do what they have to do to get this deal go through unless they want to pay Bobby Kotick an extra $1 billion to delay the merger at all. But my thoughts on this is it's probably a pretty decent thing that Ubisoft is actually getting a chance to revive their platform in general. I don't know how many people are actually buying Ubisoft Plus. That sounds like buying premium toilet paper. The regular stuff wipes the same and it's cheaper. And also most normal people just buy the regular toilet paper. They don't buy the 8-ply that comes with glitter on it. But in the second part of the video, I want to talk about my whole thoughts on cloud gaming in general. And for me, this seems like a pretty cool thing, even though I haven't really got into cloud gaming at all. Even whenever I had Game Pass last year, I mostly just downloaded the games because I have a pretty beefy computer right now. But even that probably won't last forever because with the way technology is evolving, especially in the gaming space, we probably won't be able to afford the technology to play half of these games in a couple decades. And the only real way we could play these games to their fullest potential is by having a subscription to one of these services. And in my opinion, I really do think, like, multiplayer games, if you just have subscriptions, I think that would probably alleviate a lot of the pressure on a lot of people of buying multiplayer games. Because first off, most multiplayer games are live services nowadays, and we can all say live service is gonna die, they're not gonna die. If anything, they're gonna grow and evolve into subscription services because it just makes sense. It's way easier to scale up your production of a game whenever you know how much money you're gonna be making a month off of these people. Because if I pay $60 for a game once and never touch a skin in the game or even the store, most of that money is already probably gonna be spent on developing one season of content. But if cloud gaming actually becomes a pretty popular thing, especially with multiplayer games and especially with live service games, it will be extremely easy for these people to actually somehow create a game that gets a certain amount of players each month and they get allocated a certain amount of money from the Xbox subscriptions or the Ubisoft subscriptions or just all the subscription services together that the game is actually on. And a lot of people are probably thinking to themselves, that sounds pretty bad. I don't want to have to pay subscription to play my favorite games, which you already do whenever you pay for skins. You're paying the subscription to play the game. And even if you don't personally buy a skin in the shop, some whale probably paid yours and probably 100 other people's subscription to the game. And also, people, how do you think these live service games like Valorant, League of Legends, Overwatch, Call of Duty, Battlefield, how do you think these things get made every year? Someone has to spend money on it. And you, at the end of the day, will also have to spend some amount of money on these games to play them. Unless you just want advertisements in the game, if you want to play them all for free. And trust me, if Twitch is any indicator, you do not want these advertisements in your games. Imagine having a 2-minute ad before your next game. In my opinion, I think an Xbox subscription or Ubisoft subscription or even hell an EA Access subscription should pay for all your multiplayer games. Just in general, it should just pay for at least all your live service games. Like, give these companies a cut of your profits if you're literally streaming their games on your service. It just makes sense. Hey man, raise the price of it to $60 a year. Hell, raise the price of it to $120 a year. If I know that my money is going straight into these live service games, I would be very much happy. I'd be like, A, I should be getting some more stuff for free because now I'm definitely paying for your shit. And B, they shouldn't complain about, hey, we need to add more skins into the game so you guys actually pay for it. Because guess what? We all know you're getting paid some kind of cut each and every time we play your game on one of these services. Not only would it alleviate the whole live service thing now and they could actually make content for the game instead of just skins and tiny little microtransactions, it would also alleviate a lot of gamers' wallets. Spending $120, even $200 a year on a service where you get hundreds, if not thousands of live service games to play would make everyone even happier than someone spending like $1,000 a year on one game, holding up the game and the whole franchise by themselves. Because we can all act like, oh, game development is cheap and easy. It's not. We all know game development is extremely expensive, especially to the quality of some of these AAA titles. And there's a reason why they're nickel and diming us. It's not just because they want more money. It's also because sometimes they really do need that extra money, because that extra money goes into an extra hour of gameplay, an extra mission, an extra this or that. In my opinion, I very much know why everyone's mad at Destiny 2. Whenever they come out with these new skin bundles and other things, and then they say we can't fix the multiplayer part of the game that not everyone plays because not enough people play it for them to care about fixing it, really hurts. It really hurts as an avid Destiny 2 fan. But also I understand, they are working on a whole separate new game in a marathon and they need to allocate some amount of money from Destiny 2 to this one game they're developing now. That is currently not making them any money, and that is currently also bleeding probably hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars as we speak. I understand that, but also I don't want to pay for these battle passes. Give me something I actually want, which would be new multiplayer maps, new campaign missions. They don't have to be 80 hours long. You can just throw in a free new little campaign mission mid-season. We wouldn't mind that. Or hell, use the existing resources you already have in the game and just make more side quests for us to do for more exotic weapons. Why is your money not going into developing more exotic weapons? They're literally the main part of Destiny 2. And if you want to lock them behind the paywall of $5, the battle pass, I would say that's a pretty good price because anyone that's playing the multiplayer already probably doesn't have all the weapons, and also anyone that wants to play the regular game gets an extra new weapon. But no, we can't get any of that extra cool content that would be worth the money because their money is now going in something else that they're investing in. And without a big company like a subscription service titan like Game Pass, or I don't even know if you can consider Ubisoft Plus a game subscription titan, but if they don't have anything to actually back them up, guess who has to pay for it? Us, the player base. We have to pay for the new games each and every year, even if we don't like it. And it would be kind of fun if we could get other actual quality games that we could discover on Game Pass or Ubisoft Plus or even EA Access while our favorite game is developing new content. It's how Netflix grew into the business that it is today, even though it's not as big as it once was back in the early 2010s. It was a titan because it had so much good content at the time. If you wanted to watch a movie, you could watch a movie while Netflix was making banger shows in the background. With the money you spent on the subscription service where they're giving you exactly what you want and they know, hey, we gotta keep this quality up or else these people will stop subscribing. Because guess what? If a company fears that, hey, we're kind of falling off, they're probably gonna start pumping more money into actual good content instead of just random content. Right? Like if all these gaming companies knew that they could get booted off the Xbox Game Pass service if their game is not performing up to a good standard, then they probably would pump more time and effort into quality content because the amount of people that are playing Game Pass would be ridiculous, because if you have nothing but quality content, the people will come. The future of live service games could be bright with cloud gaming. They could do some really extraordinary things with cloud gaming if they do it right. And I'm really hoping Ubisoft and Xbox set down some kind of good groundwork for these people to do these services right, because right now, live service gaming is literally the Wild West. You can scam your actual player base and not face any repercussions at all. But if Xbox came out saying, hey, we're giving all these companies so much money, they don't have to put any skins or microtransactions into the games and they're just making quality content each time, guess what? If your game isn't on Game Pass, it's probably gonna die. Or if it isn't like an actual quality live service game, it's actually going to die, because people are gonna start seeing, why would I play Call of Duty each year if I'm just paying for the same game and paying for skins each time instead of actual cool new maps? I would pay for a map pack. I'd rather pay for a map pack at this point because I actually play the maps. I don't play the skins. I'll put a skin on, but I don't pay attention to it. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the actual Xbox/Ubisoft Plus deal. In my opinion, I think it could be really good for the gaming industry if these two companies realize that if they make nothing but quality content and force other companies to make nothing but quality content to be on their service, I think this could be a game changer for live service gaming. It could actually flip the whole thing on its head, and most people be like, yeah, I only play live service games because they get nothing but content updates each and every year. And this is why I think you will be back for Overwatch 2. Click this video to find out why.